All right, everybody, how we doing today? So, for those who watched the last video of the Vikings versus the Seahawks recap, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I hope you guys like and subscribe that one. There were some things I did miss. There were some things that I wish I added to that video, and maybe I can work on making that video better, or as we go along the reviews of the recaps. I'm sorry, the recaps. Everything will start getting better. But overall, I just want to just tell you guys now. So as we start making these videos, I'm gonna start slowly working on production value, working on video, all of it. Just gonna try my best. I don't know much about this. I'm real raw, as you can see. I'm still doing this camera setup, whatever. But I do. I want to really get into sportscast. I've been loving sports for a long time, man. And I love to talk about sports. So, there's nothing better than talk about my Seahawks. But in any event, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the topic. The topic today is will these players be able to make the 53 or the practice squad at the very least? So I'm going to go ahead and talk about one player and one player in particular. And this player that I'm going to talk about today is Levi Bell. Levi Bell, I did not know much about this guy. I was actually wondering who he was when I first saw him in the Vikings game, but he impressed me in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, he really shined. He was able to go do one thing, and one thing that I liked the most. He sacked the quarterback. Once your D line can sack the quarterback in the game, that puts notice to you, and I like that. But the way he got that sack impressed me. He got underneath the tackle, bull rushed him forward, created space, shifted and turned, rushed the quarterback, and tackled him. A traditional style tackle, bull rush to the quarterback. It was great. I thought it was a perfect tackle, perfect sack. Everything was great. So that leads me to this question. When the time that he had was impressive, in fact, there was a tackle in particular where he broke out of the D line and went into the backfield and actually tackled. I want to say it was a receiver or a running back, but that was also impressive too. And he had the actual speed to go out there and tackle him, which surprised me as well. But in any event, since he had a good game, this leads me to reflect on the player and will he make it and what he can offer for the Seahawks. So let's talk about the player. So Levi Brown, he is about 5'11". That is what he's listed. It's about 270 pounds, rounded up. I think he's like 268. That's pretty big. Like in terms of size to height ratio, that's very big. He's a stock dude, which is something that, even though that some people would prefer a long, lengthy, big defensive end or line or anything. We did pretty good with Puna Ford. Puna Ford was about 5'10". He was 5'11" with cleats. He was 5'10", and he was 290 pounds, like 300 pounds. And then he got bigger. He got like 310 pounds or something like that. He did hit over 300 pounds when he was with us the previous 2 more years. But when we first got him out of undrafted, he was about 5'10", again, like 5'11" in cleats. That's what they kept saying. 5'10", but he was about 290 pounds. And he still was able to use his size and frame to his advantage and get the quarterback, which again was impressive. Excuse me. Again, just like the last video, I'm still trying to recover from being sick. I've been sick for like a whole week. And thankfully now I feel like better, but it's still like there. But in any event, so that's what in terms of Levi Brown, that's the one thing that kind of does shock me, is that for his size and frame, he was able to use it well and he plays bigger than what he did. And I actually mentioned this in my previous video. If you saw my previous video, and if you go check it out, like, subscribe it. That's the one thing I noticed when I talked about the sack, is that I mentioned, I don't know if it was the camera angle, the framework, or the players were just big around him. he didn't look like a big guy. He looked shorter, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. But again, that doesn't discredit him from having NFL talent or level. So, in terms of combine and his numbers, it was kind of a, I wouldn't say mixed bag, but mixed bag looking around because there's a lot of numbers mixed around everywhere when I was doing research. But the most concrete ones I was able to actually find was like his pro days. One of his pro days, he benched 33 on 225 pounds, which is very good. That's over 95% in a percentile of athletic people, like actual person, like in physical measurements. That's very good. But what impressed me more is that he still ran a 4.6. It was a 4.64, but that's still quick. That's very quick for being able to have such strength and power. So that's another thing that really shocks me is that unique combination of strength and speed with Levi Brown. But what does concern me about Levi Brown is as I was doing research, he's kind of fragile, and I get it because of the size. Maybe that might be the case. The body can't handle how much he's pushing himself. But he did have a torn ACL in 2020. A torn MCL, I'm sorry, in 2020, and I don't know if that has lingered on as he's played. The USFL, I don't know if he didn't, if he had injuries in USFL, but he only played 6 games out of a 10-game stretch in the USFL. So I was not aware if he had injuries or not. There was no news on that. Maybe I should dig deeper, but he still missed 40% of the season. So that's still crucial, that is crucial. So as we're talking about, those are probably the two things that I can think of in terms of cons, is that he's just considered undersized and probably could be pushed around by the right tackle and will never be able to get to the quarterback depending on the O-line. And he does miss time. He's had injuries. But that's about it. Other than that, his pros are pretty strong. He has a lot of pros. He has a couple tools in his bag in his pass rush. He's able to get low on the frame. When he's in his stance, he's naturally low. He's already 5'11". There's no taller than he can get. So once he gets lower to the ground and is able to get leverage on the tackle, that's when his bull rush becomes effective and is able to leverage away from the tackle, create space, and then go after the quarterback, which impresses me. That's exactly how he got that tackle in the fourth quarter when he played with against the Vikings. So I was shocked to see, but I was not surprised that he's able to use it to his advantage. To me, again, just like, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or if I'm going to mention this now. It was if you guys don't know who Elvis Dumervil is, he used to play for the Broncos. He wasn't that big of a guy. He was about 5'11", same thing, like 275. But he was very bendy and quick. And he was able to use his size leverage to his advantage to get underneath the tackles frequently. And in some cases bull rush and push. And then go and attack. Same with Sean Merriman, probably the same thing. In Sean Merriman's case, he was just very strong. He would just push the guy away and run after you, kamikaze style. So there's two different play styles, but similar frame. I think Sean Merriman was a little bit taller, but Dumervil was under 6 foot. So that's something that I can give a good comparison to. If you guys have not seen any other comparisons or any other players that he could be his top potential, I think that would be a great player for him. Another thing is that I do like is that he's a willing tackler. He shows a lot of heart. So there's two things that I love is that he tackles, he wants to tackle, and he finishes tackles, which is something that in Seattle that in the last couple of years I am getting pissed off about, is that we're losing people that have the ability to close the gap, that finish the tackle. Don't be afraid to throw your body. That's what gets me pissed off the last few times with our defense. This time, I like that he's willing to actually throw himself forward and stop the defender. Or, I mean, sorry, stop the offensive. I love that a lot. But that also leads to why he probably gets injured a lot. But another thing too is, again, the biggest thing of all is that he plays a lot of heart. You know, Pete Carroll loves that. Pete Carroll loves people that have been doubted in his life, have been down into fortunes and all that junk. Pete, that's just why I'm glad that if anyone's gonna give him a chance, it probably would have been Pete. So I'm happy about this. I really am. And I'm glad that he's able to show off his talents and things are looking forward for him moving forward. I hope so. Now, the things that what he could do for Seattle. Well, judging by the numbers that he produced back in college, this is going to be back in college. He had 66 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss. So again, this is when he played a full season in college. 13.5 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. That's impressive. And that's only in a 10-game span. Like, wow. That's what the one thing that really, really sticks out, and I'm sure it sticks out for you, 13 and a half tackles for loss. So if he's able to break away through the offensive line and go out and get the tackle, or notably just stop the ball carrier, that's good. I mean, he's pretty good on the run then. Maybe that would be the case. You know, that's something that we would honestly need in some cases, because even though people are still switching to pass-happy offenses, the run game will never go away. We need someone to help us stop in the run. So I'm happy to see that Levi Bell could actually stop the run, especially from the numbers I'm seeing here. Now, again, if we're going back to his most recent numbers, the USFL, he had 4 sacks, 17 total tackles. I did not see his tackles for loss numbers. Unfortunately, they did not show. But in 6 games, that's not too bad either, especially if you're the defensive line in terms of tackles. That's a pretty decent size. But again, the thing that shocks me the most is that in most of his career, he has missed time. He's had injury. He's had some nagging injury to make him miss a few games. And of course, the most notable injury when he tore his MCL in 2020. Now, here is the thing that I want to emphasize. After studying him and knowing his story and being able to read everything about that I can on Levi Brown, I like his story. This is a great kid. He's still very young. I believe he's 24 years old. Very young. He has a lot of time left. If he doesn't make it with the Seahawks, I really think he has a chance in the practice squad. I don't think Seattle, if he has another sack in either 2 more preseason games, or he has at least 2 or 3 tackles for losses and it sticks out, Seattle is not going to let him go. They will probably try their best to retain him, but I do at the same time have a feeling that if he doesn't make the 53, he will make the practice squad, or if he doesn't make the practice squad, he might actually have a chance with another team, because this is his moment now to show what he has. And let's be honest, every week someone in the NFL unfortunately goes down. Unfortunately, the job gets available. So, if he just shells out and starts balling out this year, this next couple weeks, if he's able to survive the cuts, then he might have a great future in the NFL. I see a lot in Levi Brown, especially being able to replay the Vikings game and some of the things that I've seen already in his college game tapes. And I just hope for him, he has a good career. Now, for the Seahawks, I hope that they see the talent in him that I'm already seeing now. And I hope that they're able to at least put him on the practice squad. Minimum practice squad. If not, I do want to have a chance of him making his NFL debut maybe midweek, like mid-season, sorry. Maybe mid-season, not midweek. Maybe mid-season, maybe week 12, maybe week 14, maybe a meaningless game in quote-unquote. You know, I like for him to have that experience. He deserves it, and especially after reading what I've read. So, will he make the cut? That's the question. I want to say the 53 total, no. But the practice squad, yes. I really want to say the Seahawks will give him a 53. I mean, I really want to practice squad opportunity roster. But other than that, that'll be it for me in talking about Levy Brown. I mean, hold on. See, I knew I was gonna say Levy Brown. That's enough for me about talking about Levy Bell. Please like and subscribe. I really hope you guys enjoy my mini analysis about this. I do have a few more players that I have coming up down the pipeline. I'm gonna try my best to try to crank it out once a day or once every 2 days. This one was once every 2 days, especially because it's a little tough for me. I have a couple jobs, got a family. It's tough, so it also is a little tough because most of my uploads will be around this time at night. So I do appreciate you guys listening. I do appreciate you guys, hearing me out, and I hope you guys like my take on Levy Bell. All right, and you guys have a good night. You guys do what you gotta do. Go Hawks. Again, say it again. Like and subscribe, and yeah, have a good night.